As part of the awareness that's important for tackling stress, I think it's useful to know what's actually happening in the body. We've probably all heard of fight or flight, but what's actually going on there? The autonomic nervous system is basically a control system responsible for all of the stuff that we do that we don't think about. Breathing, heart rate, sweating, sneezing, all that stuff. To simplify horribly, there's two different systems working here. The sympathetic nervous system is responsible for activating a bunch of these bodily functions. It's like a go button or the accelerator in a car. The parasympathetic nervous system is responsible for settling things down again, like the brake pedal. Gross oversimplification, but I've got 3 minutes here. What do you want me to do? Now, there's a little part of the brain called the amygdala. It's basically responsible for taking sensory information and deciding whether we should be scared or not, like a sort of threat detection system. When the amygdala gets scared, it screams for help. The hypothalamus, basically like a little command center, hears this scream for help and activates the sympathetic nervous system. It hits the go button, so think adrenaline, heart rate, breathing rate, small airways in the lungs open up, extra oxygen to the brain, heightened awareness, glucose and fats released into the bloodstream, extra energy. Your body's ready for action before you've even had the time to consciously process what's happening. This can be really useful in some situations. Like if a bear jumps out at you and is trying to rip your face off. It's probably a less useful response if your boss asks you for that report that was due in yesterday. But once we've either taken out the threat or run away to a safe distance, the parasympathetic nervous system kicks in, the brake pedal, and we calm the down. Most of the stresses that we face, though, aren't imminent dangers like bears. They're things that threaten or challenge our goals, our ego, our self-esteem. Like the thought that we might not perform well in front of loads of people, or that we might not get all the work done that we're supposed to get done. So if the perception of threat's ongoing, that go button gets effectively held down. Now, via a secondary system, something called the HPA axis, the hypothalamus, hold on a sec, I'm going to do that pointing thing that influencers do. The hypothalamus releases a hormone called CRH, which nudges the pituitary gland to release another hormone called ACTH, which then gives the adrenal gland a swift kick up the arse, prompting the release of our old friend cortisol. Now, we think of cortisol as the stress hormone, but it's actually really important for all sorts of different functions, regulating metabolism, blood pressure, blood sugar, immune function, the sleep-wake cycle, all sorts of things. So if we're producing too much cortisol for too long, well, there's all sorts of things that can potentially be affected. Now, being aware of how your body is responding to stress, how it normally responds, how that changes, noticing when your go button is stuck and the brakes aren't working properly, becomes a really important part of learning how to effectively manage stress.